Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future, said John F. Kennedy. 2,063 miles, the distance from Chicago, where I was born and raised, to Seattle, where my family moved this past February, a change in my life that has immensely affected me. First, I will talk about how to accept change, and how I myself accepted change. Second, I will discuss how I reacted to this change in my life and how I emotionally reacted to it. Third, I will talk about how this change in my life has positively affected me now and will positively affect me in my future. Let's start with accepting change. Accepting change is a hard process, but it's definitely key to happiness. When I found out my family was moving across the country, I was in complete denial. I chose to dwell on the negatives rather than the positives, and to accept change, I chose to live in the moment. I realized that this was just another step of life, and that to treat it more so as an adventure rather than a traumatizing experience. Next, I'll explain how I emotionally handled this change in my life. My emotions when we actually picked up and moved were scattered. I didn't even know who I was anymore. In the beginning, I stayed in my room all day. I wouldn't leave my room. I was in a depression. I had no friends within thousands of miles, and the only people I knew were my mom and my dad. The beginning of this change in my life, the beginning of this move towards the end, I was completely two different people. A switch went off in my brain, and I decided to embrace my surroundings and choose to provide my own happiness for myself, and that I didn't need anyone else to be happy anymore. Lastly, I will discuss how I look back and reflect on this experience in my life, and how this experience positively affected me in my life. Life throws curveballs at you all the time, and you never know when it's going to happen. And how you adapt and adjust to these curveballs is a good thing to learn and educate yourself on, because it does happen. Moving across the country was a big step, but seeing how I pushed through this shows me that in my future, if I need to ever experience anything like this again, I know I can do it. Being able to adapt to new surroundings, and especially if I'm alone, I know I can do it, and I know that I can provide myself my own happiness, and that I don't need others to be happy. In conclusion, everyone at some point in time is going to experience change, and it is important to learn how to deal with the emotions that come along with it. Moving across the country was a big change in my life that I had to deal with this past year. Accepting change, reacting to change, and reflecting on change is vital for happiness. And these situations and this is the reason why I stayed happy during this change in my life. I will leave this here, and I hope that you use my story and my advice if you ever experience a change like this in your own life.